story takes place right after the Civil War.
In the backdrop of the transcontinental railroads.
Can you imagine building a railroad back in the mid-1800s? It's quite a feat.
This pivotal moment in American history that changed everything, really gave birth to the modern country.
It was like a massive undertaking. It was done at a time when there was nothing on the horizon.
We wanted to recreate that to make sure that it looked authentic.
We couldn't just get on any train track we wanted. Have to have a track that we can control and no other trains are going to be on it.
This is sort of making movies the way they used to make movies. They built 5 miles of railroad track in the middle of the desert.
This is certified Class 2 track, which is very good track. We'll be on it 6-7 weeks. But what's amazing is that we're building everything from scratch. We've hauled in every sticker rail, every tie. There's tens of thousands of pieces that it takes to put this together.
Gore came up with the request to do it in oval pattern, which allows you to have east-west lines, north-south lines, everything that we needed.
Out of 6 railroad locations, 5 of them we have to build, and this is the biggest one.
The background extras, they've all been through railroad boot camp, where they were trained how to build a railroad. Some of them actually are railroad workers.
Well, they figured since we were experienced in railroad that they would use us as extras for swinging, spike driving, general talent.
They're the ones who did the hard work out here to make this come together. That gives us a little bit more extra pride to be able to be out here and working in the movie itself.
Had a lot of stunt guys in there that were crossing in front of a real locomotive. It was coming through there, and I had guys that were literally feet in front of that, jumping out of the way.
You know, the grill at the front of the Colby train, you know, had to feel like teeth, and when it crashes and breaks, we want to think of like a charging buffalo just getting knocked down and digging into the dirt. You know, sweaty machines with one purpose in mind.
These trains need to be going at speeds of 30, 40 miles an hour, so we're having to build them from scratch.
This is the actual workings of a real train that we manufactured here at our shop. We had all the wheels cast. We had all the axles pressed onto the wheels, just like they did in 1860. This is what we call John's train, which is from the beginning of the movie. Then that train gets converted into the Constitution. And then this is the Jupiter, which is a smaller train.
The Jupiter is a wood burner. It's much more passenger-oriented. The Constitution is a coal burner. It's very dirty, and it's black and silver and sinister and villainous.
This thing is a beast, you know, it's just tearing its way through the country.
Gore was always saying, I want these trains to be big and sweaty and menacing and to have steam coming out of them and smoke and oil dripping and just look like a threat.
It's a character. You know, these trains became characters.
Polishing my train.
You have real physical trains to do your stunts on, to do your scenes on, to stand in front of, do your performances with.
That's a nice suit. We have to stop the train! No time! Must to jump!
We could take the trains out there and, you know, do all our stuff with them.
There's something about riding on top of a train that, as an actor, you're thinking, oh boy, really?
It's hard to keep your composure and stay in character when you're thinking, I'm gonna fall off this thing, you know.
You get used to the absurdity, really.
I'll be the dude trying to jump off the side of it while shackled to another dude.
You know, you get a different performance when you put actors on top of a train at 40 miles an hour.
You capture that initial moment, you know.
Done.
I just didn't want it to be artificial.
Now we're gonna do this while it's moving, right? Good.
couldn't build track everywhere we wanted to build track, and we certainly didn't have access to all of these tracks that we wanted. So we created this sort of road rig unit, which was basically train cars on a flatbed truck, and we would drive them through these great locations, and we put our actors on the roof.
You're standing on top of a semi-truck, moving down the old country highways and stuff.
Sometimes we had 2 semis, tractor trailers with, 2 cars each, sort of racing against each other, and then we'd have our camera car as well.
Driving up and down through the mountains, through the forest, just incredible scenery, doing all of these gunfights and, live action on the trains as they're sort of careening around these corners. You get the real rush of the wind coming in through the windows, and you get tree branches hitting the side of the train, and people are bouncing and rattling all over the place, and it's alive and electric, and it's just something that you just can't create on a soundstage.
Action! 3, 2, 1, go!
Rick! Once you have the story of trains, you're going to have a great train chase. And there's a lot of great train chases that have been filmed before, so you kick it up a notch.
What Gore wanted to do was kind of double down on that and basically do the greatest train chase of all time.
It's the first time we see both the Jupiter and the Constitution together for the first time. We're not doing an historical reenactment, but we're sort of playing on the historical event of the Promontory Summit, the Golden Spike Ceremony of 1869. And it was the joining of the rails unifying the country. So it's from here that we start the big finale sequence.
There are army people jumping off of trains onto the ground and landing on bags.
2 trains simultaneously sort of chasing and racing each other. I'm upside down off a train for a while.
Her head's down here next to that wheel. They got the camera up here shooting over the wheel to her, so it's real perilous looking.
Get me sort of spinning, falling off, being caught by 2 burly men. So I've done loads of it myself, which has been really exciting. I've loved it.
Standing on top of a moving train. Yeah, that takes your breath away. I was a little scared.
Drop down, Bill, we're slowing.
It was incredible what Gore pulled off. I mean, he had Johnny running on top of the train, and I'm shooting through the ceiling, and he's dancing away. And Gore said, be like the chili pepper in the soup.
I did approach Tonto in a weird way as a kind of silent film character.
You're like, boom, boom. And then, hot foot.
You do think that the people who actually did drive these trains across this country in temperatures of 1,000 degrees centigrade, which is what it is, what people they must have been. But anyway, I'm just an actor, so it's easy for me.
Just waiting for some sun. Ready and...
There's things that we've done that just aren't safe. We are blowing up massive bridges and driving trains off bridges and things like that. So there is a certain amount of computer-generated work. It's just, we're trying to have a shell game here where you kind of can't quite tell where it is.
This is for the 3rd act, and it's called the T-bone sequence. We've got a boxcar that's gone off the rails and has slid into some rocks and is sitting parallel to the track. And there's another train going to be coming down the track and smashing right through the boxcar. So the camera was following the boxcar coming in profile and landing. And then right at the very top of the move is when we're going to have the other train car bust through it and explode.
Look at that barrel. Look at that barrel. That was awesome.
So when you see the shot, it's going to have a nice big camera move on it and seamlessly bust into, or have the other car busting through this one.
All the sequences of derailing and train-to-train sequences and switching tracks and building all these things from scratch. It's the biggest Western ever made.
To ride a horse across the top of a train, or through a train, or swing in between trains, we had to have our own train. We have very big, amazing stunts in this.
The fact that we get to work with these unbelievable craftsmen who made sure that it looked authentic
And everybody kind of feels it, you know. Everybody's there when it happens, and it's beautiful.